Get ready for the Squawking Eagles Podcast.
And welcome back to the Squawking Eagles Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. You are joining me, Mike, and Miguel, and Mark on this beautiful, beautiful 3-0 week. We will discuss a few things here moving forward. How's it going, boys? How's it going?
Oh, it's going great.
Yeah. Miguel and I were talking about how much we were going to let you discuss a certain game that happened on Saturday.
Did the game happen on Saturday? Did the game happen on Saturday?
Yeah,
it looked more like practice, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was practice, right?
Right. Yeah, it was a tune-up. So today on the podcast, we will be reviewing.
The floor is yours. Get your gloat out, Mark.
we will definitely review the Oregon Buffalo game, Colorado game. We will definitely be talking about the game Monday night against Tampa Bay and the Eagles. And there's some little side notes we want to talk about the Jets quarterback I think issue that they have. And it's a big issue, I think.
It's a jinx, is what it is.
And then we're also going to talk about this week in fantasy. It has to be discussed. I know it's probably not just our league, but leagues all over the map, how the scoring was literally out of control this week.
Oh, my God.
So if you're tuning in from any podcast, thank you. If you can leave a message in the comments or a review, that would be very helpful to our platform here. We are on any platform you can listen to podcasts on. Also over at YouTube, Squawking Eagles Podcast. We also recently hit 8,000 followers on Instagram.
Woo-hoo!
So if you're not a follower on Instagram, go on over there and follow us on Squawking Eagles Podcast. We have a lot of news over there during the week. That'll do it. This is episode number 85, gentlemen.
Let's go.
Episode 85. So we're getting pretty close to 100. We'll have to do something for 100.
We got to get a guest, an interview, something.
Let's get Jason Kelsey.
Yeah,
might as well. Maybe we get Taylor Swift right now.
Oh my god! Oh my goodness! Oh my! This whole Taylor Swift Kelsey business.
Hold on, wait. So you're saying we're gonna get Jason Kelsey and DeAndre Swift? Is that what I'm hearing? I'm down for that.
That's the only duo I really care about.
It's over there, but my Swift jersey I wore all day. I woke up Sunday, first thing I put on Monday, first thing I put on was my Swift jersey. I was like, let's go. I knew it. I knew he was gonna have a ride.
I'm wearing the BG jersey I got.
Yeah. Where's my jerseys at, Mike?
They're sitting up in my closet, ready for me to wear them because they're just sitting there. So I'm gonna have to break them in for you.
Make me show to your house.
Yeah, you gotta show up, bro. I showed up. I drove up with that morning. He was like, "Hey, get jersey here." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here too."
That's the thing. Is like Sean lives in Lawrenceville and Mike lives over in Pittsburgh. I think at this point. You know what I mean? It's closer for me to go to Lawrenceville. Now he just took the jersey.
He lives out. He lives in Hamilton. He lives out in Hamilton. I'll be in Jersey next weekend. Not this weekend. Next week.
Another week without him.
I know, right? Jesus Christ, Mike. I'm gonna just
yeah.
We'll talk off the pot.
Mm-hmm. I'll be in Oaks this weekend if you want to meet me in Oaks, PA.
I have no idea where that is.
The only reason to go to Oaks is the gun show.
It's a convention. We're going to a convention, a YouTube convention. That's a side.
I didn't know they were having a YouTube convention.
It's for a YouTuber that my daughter follows. We're going to visit
the porn section of YouTube.
Yikes!
Oh, my bad.
No, it's my daughter watches this YouTuber and she wants to go. She's putting a convention and we're going. So
nice.
All right, so. Should we want to do first? You want to get the Tampa Bay game out of the way? Do you want to, or you just want to talk about your?
I mean, we should go in order, right? Like Saturday happens before Sunday and Monday, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
Let's let it get him out of his system.
Get it out of your system.
Let it go.
All right.
Hey,
I'll sit back. Mark, the floor is yours.
All I'm saying is you post a lot of things on the Eagles podcast Instagram concerning the Colorado Buffaloes.
I do.
How's that feeling right now? Do those 6 points feel good? Do those 6 points feel good?
I'll still do it.
Do those 6 points against the backups feel good?
The game was out of control by
the opening play.
End of the first quarter. It was gone. It was gone. The game was out of control. They were already up by the spread by, I think, 8 minutes left in the first quarter. The spread was 21 points and they already hit it. I'm like, this game's done. I texted Miguel. I'm like, they're out of their league. They're done. I couldn't text you. I wasn't going to text you at all during that. At all. So Miguel. And Miguel was like, yeah, they're done.
Oh, I had a lot of people. I had my uncle was very big Prime fan all of a sudden. Just shout out. I want everyone out here who's listening, who's an Eagles fan, that my co-hosts here were supporting a former Dallas diva, as was half the country. Stop cheering for Dallas. It doesn't go your way. Look what happened on Sunday. Look what happened on Saturday. Dallas loses games, okay? It doesn't matter if it's a retired Dallas player or it's the current Dallas Cowboys who can't beat the worst team in the league. All I'm saying is stop cheering for Dallas. All right, we're Eagles fans. Our Eagles team has Oregon Ducks on the roster, okay, because we know that birds fly together.
Mediocre player.
2? 2? At least.
Okay, 2.
There might be 3, but
2.
I know.
All right. Well, you know what, man?
All
I'm saying is that I'm cheering for Deion.
Dallas Diva
what he's doing, whatever he's done for the game. Even though the scoreboard was what it was, he already won. He got people to tune into the game. You know what I mean? People like me that don't watch college football, tune in for that game. You know what I mean? So that's a win in his book. So he took an L. It was a big L.
He took a sack.
It was still a win in the eyes of the people that are rooting for Deion as a coach.
I'd say it's even a bigger win for us because as Oregon, I feel like a lot of Oregon doesn't get. I mean, for years now, they haven't really gotten the film that most of these other big schools do because they are West Coast, because their hours are the amount of games I've watched that are 10 o'clock at night starts. People aren't watching the East Coast. So we got put on Prime by Prime. We got up there, nice 3 o'clock start, 3:30 start. Everyone in the country tuned in to watch Deion Sanders learn what football is really like at this level. It hurt, we know, but it was nice to showcase just how good we really are. Backups coming in against your star players. You know what I'd like to show you guys right now? I'd like to show you guys a little something.
Here we go.
Oh, wait, did you not like this video, Miguel?
Silence some doubters so far. We know that. We've heard the national narrative. It's like a movie, isn't it? It all feels that way. Sometimes, like in movies, the stars align.
Make no mistake about it, this is a Cinderella story, right? And some people think the Cinderella story, right, always goes a certain way. This game is not about a Cinderella story, it's about ending one. Right? We always know it's Oregon versus Oregon, right? That hasn't changed. I'm not about outside noise. Rooted in substance, man.
They're rooted in substance. Gritty, no nonsense, substance. And that's what Oregon is right now. They're made of the right things, and I think it's a mark of the new era at Oregon.
And God said, let there be Colorado at Oregon.
This is a major stage because of Colorado.
Every station, TV station, is talking about Colorado.
Colorado.
Buffalo.
We're talking about
Colorado.
The most amazing story of the year
in sports history.
It's not about it's personal anymore. It's about they're coming to kick our ass.
Rooted in substance. Today, we talk with our past. When they talk, you don't say shit. You don't say shit. You talk with these. You talk to your helmet. I'll beat the f*** out of anyone
Everybody's tired of hearing about Colorado.
No question.
And that's going to show up on the football.
The Cinderella story is over, man. Does that all mean something to you? Does that all mean something to you? Yeah, I sure as hell means something to me.
Hey, I'd like to report a crime to the murder to these ducks.
Different culture, power of unity, different brotherhood. I ain't ever seen a redwood stand alone. A redwood strengths in its what? Roots. Right? And not in the individual roots. It's because they're what? They're connected. Right? Connected. Connection. In this room. Connection. 60 minutes or as long as it takes. Let's go.
There's the Harley. Here come your Ducks. This is the real deal. This is what we've been waiting for. I've already had goosebumps. And this ball game is underway.
How long is this?
I'm kind of short for you.
Touchdown, Oregon. Bill Woody.
Mainly, I just wanted to get all that trash talk involved there. I know it hurts, Miguel. It hurts to see your team get absolutely demolished.
It's not my team. You're getting joy out of me just cheering one time against Oregon, who, to me, the only highlight of their whole existence is their uniforms. Like, other than that, they really haven't done anything. So
won the multiple national championships, won Rose Bowls. Just
great.
The guy who coached and gave us Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, N'Kobe Dean, Keely Ringo is now their head coach, and they are thriving with it.
All right, cool.
So we got our Eagles with the Dogs connection.
Can we shut down Oregon radio
with the Ducks connection? And it's all coming together. All I'm just saying.
This is a Quacking Ducks podcast.
Let's go. Hey, you know what? We had enough buffaloes on our goddamn podcast. Okay. We had enough buffaloes. I think it's time we can, move along.
I just got to point out, though, they were really keying on the fact that they were playing against Deion Sanders, and Deion Sanders doesn't play the game anymore.
They didn't, though. That's where you're wrong. The media,
their duck came out dressed as Prime.
Yeah, as him. But the whole team meeting that we did skip goes on about how it's team versus team. Like, they're all about the media. They're all about the clicks. We're not here facing their coach. We're not here facing their media. We're here facing ourselves to win.
Yeah, they're about clicks and we're about
wins.
Yeah,
that's right.
I saw the rankings, and the Buffalo aren't even. They're not even. Ranked anymore. They're not even ranked anymore.
Hey, listen. Like I said, Deion already won before the game was even played. Yeah, so
I'm still going to tune in to watch their games. I want to see what happens when Travis Hunter comes back. I'm still a fan. I'll still watch. I'm still he's got his Oregon blanket on his bed too now. This guy.
I'm pretty sure he has a Knicks huggable my buddy over there somewhere.
No, I do not. I do not do that. I might be wearing number 10 underneath this, but it's Justin Herbert. It's not Bo Nix. Look,
right.
Don't get me wrong. As a Ducks fan, I want to see success in the team. If Bo Nix happens to have the success it takes into the NFL, it takes into a Heisman conversation, that's great. I was never a huge fan of Nix because he was an Auburn quarterback first, and I didn't like him down there.
Transfer.
But he has developed
transfer portals.
Hey, we talked about this already, and you don't need to argue that. I said limit the amount, not stop them entirely. Now, I will say, just a little thought. This is something that I've been keeping in mind because this is kind of shocking for me. That man's passing percentage this season is like 85% through every game.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with what he was doing. I was impressed with that.
I was shocked because, like I said, I had seen him beforehand and he was not this good. This is surprising how good he is.
He's gonna look good in Arizona red.
I was gonna say he's gonna look good in Jets green.
I have a feeling. I honestly already thought about this. I think he goes to Colorado. I think he goes to Denver.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
All this, I think he ends up going to Denver.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, damn! Just whoop on their team, end up being their NFL head. Oh god, yeah. I don't think Wilson has not looked good. Let's be honest here. If we're getting back to NFL talk. Yeah. Wilson. I mean, before we even get to our birds, little talk around the league.
Let's do a little league talk here. Yes, let's go.
Broncos. What? Like, and people realize, they're running it up, bro. Their backups had 200 rushing yards.
Yeah, no, dude. Fucking Tua said we try to run the ball. They didn't tackle us. Like,
they're not going to stop.
Like, what were we supposed to take a knee from every play? Like.
I've got friends who are diehard Miami fans. Literally a weekend ago, they're like, we're not a running team. Like the whole running joke is that we don't run the ball.
Yeah.
And there was there's a clip. I wish I had it ready because now I wish I had it. It just makes more sense. Of their coach, McDaniels, finding himself on camera during a game and he grabs his mic, holds it in front of his mouth, looks directly at the camera, and says, "Run the ball, run the ball." Because the joke, they don't ever run the ball. And then last week they ran the ball pretty well. And then this week, Tua, I think, was sitting down by the end of the third quarter. Just bad.
Yeah. There was no reason to have him out there at all.
I know.
Like, zero.
For people to say, they're running it up. Dude, they're literally doing everything they can to go easy on. I mean, their last touchdown, I'm watching the running back 15 yards out. He's pretty much walking.
Yeah. Yeah, they had given up. Like if you've ever seen a football team give up, Denver gave up, and I've never seen that that way before. That was, they put up 70 points. That's the most since 1966.
And they could have broke the record, which was 72 with the field goal, and they decided not to.
Yeah, that would have been a disaster.
And then also they should have.
The amount of yardage they put up, that was the second most yardage in football history.
And they went easy.
Yeah.
The Jets should trade to see if they can get Russell Wilson.
Now the Jets are in a predicament here. They've got Zach Wilson, who was the second overall pick, was he, or third overall? Like one of those.
I think he's second.
Some quarterbacks are reaching out to the Jets to give their services. One Carson Wentz has reached out to Joe Douglas to come and right. And then another, Colin Kaepernick, wrote a letter and called Joe Douglas to say,
I read the letter.
You read the letter, right? He says, I want to join your practice squad. He just wants to join the practice squad. Give him a shot on the practice squad. And they go and sign Trevor Siemian. It's like that is like, I don't understand why they would pick someone who was on a bench most of his career.
So
over those two guys.
In New York, on New York radio, because I listen to fucking New York radio sports station sometimes. They're over there they're afraid to grab a backup quarterback that's capable because they don't want the crowd to start cheering for that player to come in when he's doing wrong in a game and blowing his ego. They're still trying to salvage whatever they can from this guy.
I will tell you right now, his ego is gone. You know why? Because one Broadway Joe Namath came out and said,
I listened to that whole interview. He destroyed him, literally destroyed him, and the Jets organization. Told them they got to get rid of everybody. You got to get rid of everybody at this point.
Yeah, he's like, throw that guy away. He's garbage. He's trash. I'm done with him. Get him out of there, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it does not look good for Jets Nation. And I'm excited to talk to really get Sean on the podcast and really talk about it. But
I'll even put out there because I think earlier a few podcasts ago, I have made mention prior to the season that I actually suddenly had a slight spark of hope for Zach Wilson. Because I really thought that, but granted, things went different with Rodgers getting hurt. But I really was thinking, get a full year with him behind Rodgers, he might really have a chance to develop learning from that. But that got taken away from him, and now we see him. And I don't know if he gets another chance to learn under Rodgers. Even if Rodgers comes back, do they keep Wilson? I don't know if they do.
How could they?
On the Michael K show, they talked about how they think that it's Rodgers pulling the strings behind the scenes, which is why they didn't get a veteran quarterback, because Rodgers wanted to be like to save his legacy, the thing that he didn't do for Jordan Love, which is like train Jordan Love, that he can salvage what's left of Zach Wilson and make him a better quarterback. That's why that's the thinking in New York right now. Why haven't you picked up a quality a backup? Why haven't you picked up somebody that can move the ball through the air?
Yeah,
it's the only logical thing is that Aaron Rodgers said, "Don't pick up another veteran quarterback. Let me work closely with Zach. Let me fix him." And then he ended up getting hurt.
Excuse me, Robert Saleh. This is Tom Brady. I just want to have a discussion.
That call hasn't been made either, but I'm guessing the situation he's with in Oakland is probably stopping him too.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a conflict of interest right there.
Yeah.
The Jets, they drafted Zach Wilson thinking he was the savior, and they found out he wasn't. And so they went and got Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be this, guy who's all of a sudden wants to have this guy under his wing, and he gets hurt. Is there really a curse on the Jets? Like, is it really?
I feel the Jets will always be cursed as long as they stay at MetLife Stadium. As long as they share a stadium with the New York Giants, they will never be a valid team.
I really wish they wouldn't share. I wish they had their own stadium. Honestly, I think it's nicer if they have their own stadium.
Yeah. I don't think could the area support another team? I don't think New Jersey can fit another stadium.
Wouldn't be New. So the Jets had made plans years ago, and they had the money and the setup to do it, to build a stadium in like downtown Manhattan,
Queens.
Yeah, it looked amazing. The rendering was great, and then the NFL was like, nah, because the Giants were suffering at the time. They're like, you can't, because the Giants will be able to afford a stadium on their own.
I mean, that's not that's wild. I don't understand how New York is the top market in any sport that we talk about, right?
Correct.
How can a team that's lower in the market value afford to build a stadium in certain areas, and New York can't do it? You can't fund a stadium in New York? Come on.
I know. Look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Your team is now going to require Florida taxpayers. I think it's Florida. Yeah, it's Florida taxpayers. $1 billion to build their stadium. They want $1 billion in taxpayer money to build their stadium.
Hopefully, it's a retractable roof too.
I think it's going to be. But the stadium looks amazing. Like these stadiums that they, these rendering drawings, they are amazing. It's just that, they're in these areas where the teams are known to be not good. Like Jacksonville is not going to be good forever. They're just not going to be.
Don't you dare talk about my WP Jacksonville Jaguars, all right? Don't disrespect. Put some respect in your voice when you talk about my Jaguars.
Well, they're 1-2 now, aren't they? It's 1-2. It's crazy.
This was the mock-up of their stadium. The outside of it looks just as nice. Yeah, and this got turned down.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's because the Giants. What you said, it was a few years ago.
Oh, it was over a decade ago.
Okay, so
back before the Giants had won a Super Bowl,
a recent Super Bowl.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah,
you weren't alive for their other ones.
If it happened before you were alive, it didn't happen. All right.
you know what's crazy? Like the Giants built MetLife Stadium, and that shit was like $1 billion.
Yeah,
and then like a couple years later, the Rams built the stadium they got for almost the same amount of money.
Looks so much nicer,
and it's so much nicer. The people on New York radio consider it the bird's nest, like the way it's like shaped and the way it looks like a nest.
Yeah. It's ugly.
I don't know if you guys
it's not a nice stadium.
That stadium was supposed to host the championship game for the World Cup when it comes to the U.S. However, it's been denied because it's not big enough. They didn't make the field long enough or wide enough for everything, for all the requirements. It didn't make requirements. So now the only options,
I believe it,
are Dallas or MetLife.
Oh, you mean
that have the field size to host the championship game?
You confused me.
I thought you said MetLife. You said MetLife wasn't too.
I'm sorry, not MetLife. My apologies.
Yeah.
LA was supposed to host it. That brand new stadium isn't big enough. MetLife is now one of the options.
Oh wow,
crazy. However, they've also required I keep double checking because I'm waiting to see what we do, because the World Cup happens next year, and we need by requirement for FIFA, we need to have an 80,000 stand stadium minimum.
Right.
We're at 72,000.
Yeah.
Where are we adding these 8,000 stands? I mean, I'd like to see them add 8 to 20,000. I'd love to see 20,000 more seats get put into our stadium, but where are they going to put them?
Yeah, I don't know.
Obviously, you can't do construction in the middle of the season. They can't start construction until February when we come home after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They're going to have to get that done fast.
I would hope that
I'm sure they will.
They will. They will.
It won't be. If we're already at 7, adding 10,000 seats, I don't see them having an issue with that.
There is a lot of open space. There's a lot of open space.
They can close out one of the facing the city.
Yeah,
they should. That's the one corner they should leave open. That's such a nice view.
Yeah. Well, they need 10,000 seats. One or the other.
I say the one of our end zones has like a whole like half to it. This is just like not. It's got that whole area where the screen is. We could just lift that up and just add another 20,000 seats.
Just build a new stadium. Just build a new stadium.
We're not building a new stadium. We will. If we get a new stadium in my lifetime, I'd be shocked.
You better live for a long time, Mark.
I'm trying to, man. I'm trying to. And so is pancakes, man. Gotta eat healthy.
All right, now that we've got all that out of the way.
Do we?
We got everything out of the way here we have to talk about the Tampa Bay Eagles game on Monday night where we're coming off of a Sunday where teams put up 70 points, 50 points. The mighty Arizona Cardinals defeated the Dallas Cowboys of all teams.
Skip that of all conversations to skip.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best games. I never watched Dallas. I can't watch Dallas. But to put on that game and see the Cowboys like struggling against the Cardinals, I'm like, the Cardinals, we all have agreed here, are tanking, right? They want to lose. Like they want to lose, right?
Supposedly. Yeah.
Supposedly, that's what they're supposed to be doing.
I think the Vikings might want to lose.
The Vikings are now 0-3. That team is wow. So it's like the Cowboys lose. Like the Washington got destroyed. The Giants lost. Eagles can go out and make a statement game against Tampa Bay. I would say, we'll go over our one word for the game, but they looked a little flat again coming out. They kind of forgot what to do again. I feel like they're not putting this 4-quarter game together. But I do know that this defense is legit, and this line is, you can't stop this line. And watching Jalen Carter take on a double team and still get to the quarterback, like, are you kidding me? This guy?
About in the one play where he tosses the first blocker, then takes a double team and still gets a pressure.
How about when Jordan Davis took that one guy like a fucking ragdoll and was like, where are you going? Like fucking Mortal Kombat. Get over here.
How enormous is that man? Jordan Davis is huge.
Giant.
Huge.
He's fucking giant.
Yeah, those two on the line. And Jordan Davis is out there more often now than ever before. Like he's out. He's out there on running. He's on there on passing downs. He's out there on running downs.
What did we say last year? He just needed to develop. I remember people talking about him might being a bust. He's not a bust. No. He's had to develop into an NFL level.
Yeah.
And look at what he's done since being here. We have, I don't have the exact number. Someone will have to help me with this. Like 350 rushing yards before contact right now. Before contact.
Yeah.
We have allowed 150 rushing yards as a defense.
Yeah,
those fucking goals were huge.
We have doubled the amount of rushing yards our opponents have allowed without getting touched.
Yeah.
Dude, our O&D line are the best lines in the league. I don't care what other teams have to say. I know the Jets came out really excited about their D-line. Look, your D-line's got a lot of great players on it. Don't be wrong, but your team sucks. San Fran, you've got some great players. No question. You're not doing what we're doing to people. You're not stopping people like this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, the Eagles defense, like Jalen Carter, he went in for a pass rush, dropped back and forced a fumble. Like the guy's doing things.
He forced 2 fumbles this week.
He's doing things that I know. Like Dick Vermeil has come out and said that he reminds him of Reggie White. Now I know it's only been 3 games, and it's early to be doing that stuff. I don't like saying those things too early to jinx anybody, but this guy is a steal at number 9, a steal. And
somebody else called him Jerome Brown.
Yeah, I see Jerome Brown. Brown.
Either way, that's a high praise.
It's a very high praise. It's very high praise.
Is it just me, or I feel like we're doing this more and more? Like I don't get me wrong. No, as much as we don't like the Cowboys, I'm not stupid. I know that Micah Parsons is a phenomenal player. I've heard so much conversation about he is Lawrence Taylor reincarnate, and now I'm here. And I heard in preseason they're talking about the way Sidney Brown attacks the play, and they're like, "Oh, it's very Brian Dawkins-esque," and I'm like, I'm having an issue. I'm starting to see it in some of these.
Yeah.
Of course, I said the one that blew me off the most was the Dallas comment that Deuce Vaughn looked like a young Barry Sanders. And I was like, that's not accurate. That's not accurate. You're on some special thing.
Right. There's a new we'll go over this nicknames that I've found. What are your thoughts on this game, Miguel? What did you think the Eagles, how they do in your mind?
I feel as though they are starting to find their stride. Yes, we started off a little slow. I'm not sure if I want to blame that on the coaching staff or just Jalen just making bad decisions, which is kind of crazy because the week before, Ron Jaworski came on the radio and said that even though has some incomplete passes, he's the most accurate quarterback in the league right now. But some of those plays last week where there was one that he threw to Goddard that went to the outside and Goddard cut in the inside, and then the two on the interception where I think he was looking for the back to cut to the outside and he threw it to the outside where the DB was waiting for him. But I mean, it's little stuff like that needs to be cleaned up, and it's clear to see the line has finally gotten it together. I wish Dickerson would stop committing so many fucking calls and being downfield so many damn times.
Right,
but I mean, we're gonna have those line issues with
RPOs, man.
RPOs, yeah. So
look,
but the defense, I have to give it up to wow, I almost say Shane Steichen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got to give it up to the new coordinator,
Sean Desai.
Sean Desai. He's really got that defense in gear right now. That front four, I don't see anybody being capable of stopping them. The things that they were doing, the pressure they were getting on Mayfield, man, it's going to be crazy to see. And listen, I know there's a lot where people expect to see issues with scrambling quarterbacks such as Tua that we're going to see in about 3 weeks here. That speed of that line, bro, Tua's not going to have. If a normal quarterback has 2.5, let's call it seconds, Tua's maybe going to have 3 seconds. He's going to add that just because of how fast he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just I see this team finally becoming more organized. You know what I mean? Like we knew that they were going to come and target AJ Brown the first couple of reps to get him in the flow of things, and exactly what they did because of last week's little tantrum he threw on the sideline. But I mean, overall, man, this team is looking like they're starting to find their stride, and it's scary because we're winning games, not looking good. Imagine when we do look good, how much scarier we're going to be. Yeah. Like I could see people like all hyped about Miami right now. Miami's playing out of this world right now. But at some point, the NFL is going to catch up to them, or injuries are going to catch up to them. And then they're going to have to they're going to be tested. So
I will say,
Nick not to interrupt you, Mark, but Nick Sirianni said it's okay for us not to be perfect right now. Nobody, you don't want to be perfect right now. You want to be perfect when it counts. So,
agreed. Exactly. Now, I will say a few things I want to point out real quick. One is that Miami did drop 70 without their number 2 wide receiver. And their number 2 wide receiver is a number 1 wide receiver on any other team in the NFL. Let's not get it twisted. That team is nasty. I don't think anyone in this league coaches offense the way McDaniel does right now. Granted, he has phenomenal players. He has a ton of speed. I'm interested to see what happens that week against them. I did predict that we would lose that game. I still think that game might be a nightmare for us to handle. That's a lot of offense. I will say out there, yes, Hurts has started to improve. Don't want to quite put out there that he's the most accurate quarterback because the guy who is the homage of this actual in the back.
Oh, my Lord.
I knew I was going to hate for this. He is at almost 75% completion percentage in the NFL. He is, after what he did to the Vikings, that's what kills me when it comes to that team. If I am the owner of the Chargers and I see that I have a quarterback who is nearly 1,000 yards passing, has not thrown a pick, and is the most accurate one in the league, and we're still losing games, I'm having some issues with my coaches. Just putting it out there. If I'm the Chargers, that head coach is fired. I understand they won this week, but he's a nightmare.
Just hired him.
I don't know. I know they didn't. They had him last year when he blew the 27-point lead in the playoffs
against your Jaguars.
They should have kept that. They should have kept that black coach. What was his name?
They should have fired. No, he was just as bad. They should have fired them all, man. They're all bad. Anyway, moving on to the Birds. All right.
Let's hear what you have to say, Mark.
I mentioned this the day of the game, watching something. When you come up to the second, third down of a play, and you look at your opposing team, if you're the offense, you look at your opposing team and they sub out those D linemen. When the sub coming in is Fletcher Cox, you know you're in trouble. Like when that is the backup player coming in, you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why is one of the best D tackles who have played in the past decade coming in as a rotational player? I'm okay with it, of course. As an Eagles fan, I love it. But, I mean, you've got to think about, I mean, you remember that clip of Geno Smith last week against Aaron Donald. Like, oh, my God. You got to think some of these quarterbacks are looking at going like, how is this who I'm facing now? Like, normally those guys look at those plays, especially if it's gone on to like, oh, they got it first. It's on to the second series. Those de-rotate. All right, we got some backups in, a little bit of break for me. And it's like, oh, no, Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox are coming in. How is that a break?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
You know, you're just in a world of pain.
Yeah. What's happening is that they're focusing on Hassan Reddick because Hassan Reddick doesn't.
I told you
they're doing that, and that's okay. But then it's just releasing everybody else to get into through the middle. Like that's
they're literally they're having to double team Reddick and Carter, and that's 4 of your 5 linemen.
Yeah.
Brandon Graham was on the morning show the other day, and they asked him. They were like, "What's the biggest difference going into this game against Washington? That's compared to last year's game that we lost to them. You know what I mean?" And he was like, last year we didn't have the run stuffers in the middle, and they took advantage of that. After that game, we bought in Sue and
Joseph,
the other Joseph.
Yeah.
He's like, now we have them. And he's like, and Fletcher Cox has trained them boys. And Fletch loves that the team is drawing attention to them and he can do whatever he wants to do now. So they're loving that double teaming.
Can I also point out that somehow in this league, the current passing leader is Kirk Cousins.
I know.
The 0-3 quarterback. God damn.
Yeah, I don't. He's on my fantasy team. And
he's putting up fantasy points. If you're a fantasy fan, I say if you're a fantasy player and you got Kirk Cousins, Tua, Herbert, or Stafford, you are a happy person no matter what their record.
Yeah,
it kind of makes that NFL commercial about the script a little bit more funnier when he's just sitting there with his chains talking about, you like that?
0-3, but you're winning your fantasy game,
right?
That's right. I'll take it. I'll take his 0-3.
Right.
But this game against the Buccaneers, I thought was a average game. It wasn't a great game. There were some great things into the game. AJ Brown getting a lot of play. DeAndre Swift is second in rushing, and he's only rushed in 2 games, and there's been 3 weeks. Like that's pretty impressive right there. And he back-to-back 100-yard games. Like keep feeding him. Just the old line. There's a talk how like Jalen was sick and a lot of other players were sick on the team. And apparently Jason Kelsey was sick. All these guys have flu-like symptoms during that game. And so to win like that and you're also sick, hey, I'll take it. And hopefully they're well by Sunday, which they should be. And I think they're going to have a statement game against Washington. If you guys had anything else to say, but let's do our one word. Let's do our one word for the Tampa Bay Eagles game. One word that comes to mind for you about that game. You want to go first, Mark?
Can I do with the State Farm commercial where if you bundle them together, it's only one word? That's 4 words, not if you bundle them. I would say stout.
Stout.
That defensive line is stout.
Yeah.
I'll go with organized.
Oregon. Yeah, I agree. Oregon's a good one.
Jesus Lord.
You want to change that word?
Yeah, right.
It's eyes. Your eyes. Your eyes. I want to say Jalen.
Carter.
Either one. It could have been.
Two picks.
Carter. I'm going to say it was Jalen because without both of those guys, that's a different game.
Look, I don't want to put any hate on Jalen Hurts. Obviously, I love him. I like what he's done for the team. I do want him to take a moment. All right, like I think that last year we had such a good run, and I think how it ended stung him to a point where he feels that he needs to be better. And I want him to meet with somebody, talk it over, and realize that he does not need to be better. He needs to do what he did with the team as a whole. He doesn't need to put on his shoulders. You've got one of the best running backs. You've got one of the best O-lines. You've got some phenomenal, if not top tier wide receivers. It's not you, my guy. Take your time. Go back to the way you just kind of enjoyed, like Justin Fields was saying, even though it didn't work for him because he's just not as good as you. Ignore that outside noise and just go back to what makes you have fun. Because when you have fun, you last year we destroyed teams when you were just having fun. When you keep trying to force it and trying to make yourself Superman, that's when you make mistakes. That's when you get hurt. Look, Eagles fans are too well aware of what happened to Wentz during his best season. He was playing Superman ball, and he got hurt. We don't want you hurt, Hurts. We like your name being the only hurt you ever have. All right, we love you. You're very cherished here in this city. We just need you just relax, man. You got this. We believe. Just take your time and have fun with it. Your team will be successful. I promise.
So, to that point, like Kelsey said something interesting this morning on the radio. He said that that they have been seeing weird looks that they weren't accustomed to seeing, and it's taken Jalen some time to adjust because they're doing things that they haven't seen.
Of course.
Before. So it's just like they asked him, what did Belichick do that, Todd Bowles copied or improved on? And it was just some looks that they were giving him pre-snap and that would switch up after the snap. And that's what's confusing the Jalen right now. But it's all fixable things, you know what I mean? And the more that these teams all play, the more all of that shit gets unlocked and revealed in tape, right? So I mean, like I said earlier, this team defensively, we look like they're getting the shit together. Offensively, little adjustments still need to be made. Jalen's got to be more secure in playing in that pocket and being sure that the protection is going to be there for him. And then we're going to be unstoppable. So
can I just add on to that? Like, I don't know. I think part of this is Brian Johnson. And again, we're winning, so I don't want to throw any hate. I just want there to be some thought here. We've come out multiple games now with this throw first mentality, and it's been not working. It just ends in duds after duds. We're punting the ball, and then we get back to running it, and we start running the ball. We run the league. We run the game. That's just how it goes. What if we go back to our old school? Like, I understand you want to put your own wrinkle on it, Johnson. I get it, but like, it's tried and true method in football that works across every level. If you run the ball until the opposing team breaks down to stop the run,
right?
I mean, we're averaging 8 yards a carry. Make them change that. Make them make the adjustments. Make them put those 8 men in the box. And then you run those quick play actions, those quick RPOs, the quick, flare outs, something that gives Hurts one-on-ones to look at, that gives him those easy, like, we're snapping these. I guarantee you give AJ Brown the right, quick slant, he's going to take it to the house, just like Jefferson did, just like Amon-Ra St. Brown does. Those teams are finding a way to force opponents to let their stars be one-on-one, and their stars are punishing them for it. We've got a star in the running back position. We've got, I would argue, 2 stars at the receivers position. Man, just run the ball until the opposing teams say, we're going to load up on you, and then just let Hurts have some easy confidence building plays.
But see, that's the thing, Mark. Like, for example, the Minnesota game was where I recognized it a lot, is where the Minnesota started off with 8 in the box, but they were dropping back. So it's like,
so don't check out of it then. Run down their throats.
But that's the thing is, I don't know. I don't know how to really word it, but it was just like it's like you have to have the threat of the pass game in order to have a good running game. If you can't pass the ball, you can't run the ball.
Yeah, but I think it's opposite right now. Where if we're currently running 8 yards a scamper, then it doesn't matter if they put it in the box. You need to run it until they actually keep those 8 in the box. You got to make them understand that the threat is that they're going to drop them out. They're going to lose consistently.
Yes, but at the same time, we had the RPO game. We have double the threat of run. Jalen's either going to pass it or he's going to run it, or you got to have hand it off to Swift and he's going to go, right?
I feel like we got to move away from that. RPO is not working the same this year.
That's the evolution of the game, right? But there's like the reverse issue with the Jets right now. Everybody knows the Jets can't throw the ball. They're going to put 8 in the box, right?
But the thing is, you know that Jalen can throw. Every team knows Jalen can throw. Every team knows A.J. Brown can make a play. Every team knows that Devontae Smith can make a play. So they're always going to keep people back. They put it in the box, they drop them, like you said. They're going to keep doing that. So until they stop doing that, just run it down their throats. Because they need to learn that they're going to get punished in the run game for not stopping the run.
But that comes down to Jalen, because we always keep playing the RPO and Jalen pulls the ball and he either takes off or he passes it. Yeah.
Get rid of the RPO. Get rid of the RPO. Get rid of the quarterback design runs for now. Just for now.
You can't get rid of it completely. You can't.
Yes, you can.
You got to have the dual threat running. You can't. You cannot just get rid of it all completely. You
go back 4 years ago and no one has an RPO going.
I mean, 4 years ago, we're all talking fucking Wildcat formation. Same thing.
And that's no longer like almost completely out of the league. You can remove that.
Yeah, you can, but why get rid of something that's benefiting your offense?
Because it's not right now. We get more penalties on RPO than any other play style.
Right. That's the thing. If they take it out completely and then they bring it back, then it's going to give him even more penalties because they're not used to even doing it. They got to run it to stay used to it. They got to run.
You keep practicing it. You don't need to run it.
You know, practice is practice.
I get it, but I'm sorry. At this point, like I said, it's the whole NFL is this pass thirsty mentality. That's why teams are drafting edge rushers at an all-time high. That's why receivers are going at an all-time high. You're seeing these players come out like, we're looking for the best quarterback, the best receiver, and the best pass rusher, because that's the way the league is, which is why defenses can't stop the run the way they used to.
We've been talking about this for the last 84 podcasts. Like, we all know that the NFL is going to a passing league. You know what I mean? We all know this. Like, that's why they have more DBs now. That's why they're getting away from the typical linebacker and they're going to more of a hybrid of a safety corner type linebacker type guy. You know what I mean? So it's just the evolution of it, man. And
I'm saying, so if you want to be ahead of the curve and you want to win the games, what's happening now is a reaching point where you're going to see is that transition to history repeating itself. And what beats opposing defenses that are built for the pass? The run. We've got an O-line and a running back who dominate this style of play. Use it. Run the ball.
They are using it.
Not against all defenses, though. Not against all defenses.
I guarantee you there's no defense in the league that stops this run. None of them.
You don't think they'll have a hard time against Aaron Donald and the Rams? They won't be able to run.
Aaron Donald's a pass rusher. Easy claps. Look, I'll pull it up right now. Hold on.
What I see the Eagles continue to do is continue to use Swift in those ways, but also keep that RPO. Like, I don't know if you noticed during the game, the couple of those passes to what's his name, Zacharias or Zacchaeus?
Zacchaeus.
Jalen stood back in the pocket, like making room for himself. Instead of like normally he would have just took it down and ran, but he just hung back there, and got hit. And he got hit. So what's the difference with him running the ball and getting yards and getting hit, or sitting back there and getting hit? I don't see a difference.
There's not.
Almost like we should run a ball with a running back.
So it's like, I think something got into his head where he's got to sit back there and take those hits and over. I don't like that. I don't like that. Jonathan think did that. I don't like it. I just don't like it.
That's the thing. Like, that comes down to the direction that coaching and ownership want to go to. Look, we're paying you all this money. We want to limit the risk on you. We'd rather you become more of a pocket passer than a scrambling, because it's not beneficial to us.
I feel like when you do that, you destroy the player.
I mean, but Nick Sirianni's even come out and said it. We're not trying to take that aspect away from his game. We're just trying to have it happen less, so that way we can prevent injuries like the shoulder injury last year.
Right, but I feel like even though it resulted in a touchdown, he stood back there quite a long time for Jalen Hurts, who normally I would see running the ball. That's all. I don't like it.
I agree. I actually like Jalen Hurts on the scramble. I've always said I think Jalen Hurts is better as a scrambler than he does on the QB design runs. Because at that point the plays are more open. I think he makes better things happen, and I think it's a better decision for him than trying to force it into a spot that doesn't. And this just goes back to what I've been saying, though, is that you said it early, Miguel. Teams are going to give us different defensive looks now because of what we did last year. Last year, what did we do? RPOs, quick throws, quick plays. So defenses are hugging that 7 yards and up spot. That's what they're going to do. They're hoping for those quick passes. And that's why I'm trying to say, man, you run it down their throat until they stop committing to that, because they have to stop the run. Because if you are constantly trying to cover that 7 yard mark for those quick passes, and so until you're running it 8 yards a play like we've been, eventually you're going to have to make that change. You have to, because if I run 8 yards every play, I'm going to win every game no matter what. You're never going to beat me, ever. Stanford did it when they were at their best. They just ran the ball, ran down the clock, and they were just crushing everyone repeatedly because what do you play against them? You don't have the ball. You never get the ball. They take the ball the whole game. And when you finally commit, when you finally king those guys in, suddenly you're opening up Jalen Hurts' key. Jalen Hurts has that beautiful, quick zip on that 7 yard pass to A.J. Brown, on that 15-yard hook to Devontae Smith, and they're no longer in coverage. They're no longer there because they have to focus. They have to give Swift respect. The moment you do, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are out of the box. And you don't need to see Hurts sitting in the pocket for 6 seconds. You see him there for 1.5, 2 seconds, and we're throwing the ball out. It all comes back to this. Like, we need to make a change. We can't run this same method, and that's what's making Hurts have to stand there for so long, is that they're covering this. They know what we want to do, and they're holding it. So Hurts is holding it, waiting and waiting for the players to get open. And while it's worked a few times, it's not going to work against better defenses. I think we have the best defense in the league. If you hold the ball that long, San Francisco is going to hurt you. I guarantee it.
Yeah, well, they're a pass rushing team. They said on the broadcast that the Eagles offensive coordinator Brad Johnson is we all know he's a former quarterback. He's known Jalen Hurts since he was 5 years old, apparently. Mm-hmm. If you're a quarterback, you're going to want to pass the ball. You're not going to want to run the ball. You're going to want to pass it. So I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a little bit of Brian Johnson wanting to pass the ball because he is a quarterback. That's what he's used to. And I think, I don't know if you noticed, but there was a time where Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni weren't really next to each other during the game. Then all of a sudden, they were almost standing right next to each other, talking about what the game plan was. I think something is changing where Nick is going to be a lot closer to Brian about calling plays. In my mind, in my opinion, that's what it looks like to me. Yeah, I know, Mark. Run the ball. You know I like to run the ball. You know I run the ball. I want to run the ball.
I'm going to bore Miguel to death with this. He's falling asleep. Like, he doesn't want to watch me run. I want to run the ball.
Well, I just got out of work, but my guy. It's about to be my bedtime.
Yeah. Right. We're we could tie this game up in 2 words here. They won.
They did.
They won. They're 3-0.
All I know is that Jalen Carter looks like the greatest 9th pick overall I've seen in a long time.
I mean, even they said it on the broadcast. They let this guy slip to the Eagles.
It's funny because we said that in the summer. Everyone's saying in the summer. Every team's going to be saying that. And every team is saying that. Every team is going, how did he go 9?
Well, the thing is, though, the Eagles are on everyone's mind. Not only from Jalen Carter to now the what people have called the tush push. Now we are calling it it's a new name for it. It's called the brotherly shove. A legal play that teams are complaining about because they can't stop it. That's the only reason why they're complaining.
Hey, Kelsey brought it up, I think, on New Heights, and I've seen it brought up a lot. All these other teams have been doing it and try. First off, let's be honest. The best to ever do this was Brady. Brady's whole thing. Brady has more 1-yard touchdowns, I think, than any other quarterback when it comes to this. Like, this is what they're good at. Okay, that's what they started back during the Brady era. And you guys might not like it now because it's no longer Brady. But every team has the same opportunity to do it. Every team has the same chance. Some of you guys have Jordan Love, who doesn't know how to snap the ball.
I forgot the snap count. What the fuck?
And some of you guys just don't know. You guys don't have the mass to do it. It comes down to a simple thing. It's mathematics. You've got 1,000 pounds on one side, 800 pounds on the other, and guess what? 1,000 pounds wins. That's how the play is going to go.
You got to get lower than the others.
You got to get low. You got to put the body in. And we've been stopped. We were stopped this week.
Yeah.
We just have
the second try, though.
Do it again.
Do it again.
They're going to stop it again. And guess what?
They can't stop it. Nobody's going to stop it back-to-back times. No one's going to stop it back-to-back times.
So until you can't, like, it's for all these people saying it's got to be getting rid of. Bro, every team has the opportunity to do it. You're just not good at it.
And they are doing it. They're taking the opportunity of doing it. They're just not good succeeding. They're just pissed that they can't succeed with it.
You're just mad because we are actually good at something. Sorry.
I like the one play where they faked like they were gonna do it, and then they were gonna do either a toss or a pass play and fell.
I did agree with commentators though that maybe we should have kept that. We should have kept that in the
later in the season. Yeah,
should have kept it in their pocket. They shouldn't have done that. I agree.
It was a bad time for it because it's a good play, bad time. It didn't go out well. And you know what? Like this week, we got Washington.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to even need that at all this week. I think we saw what the Bills did to the Commanders last week, where they put up 50 points or something like that. They put up a lot of points.
He threw 4 interceptions. Let's put it that way.
He threw 4 interceptions. Like this game, I think.
I don't think the Rams the following week are as near of a threat, so it's not as much of a trap game. I feel like last year, I forget who it was after us, but this was a trap game for us. We were doing so well. We weren't paying attention. We lost.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to be in on Washington. They're not going to let that happen again.
Yeah. Washington's 3-1. We're gonna come in with a fight, and then and then we got the Rams after that. So we got some things to look forward to. A little bit of growth, we got some fight left in us. The Eagles Jets game in 2 weeks is not nearly as exciting anymore.
Yeah, the Eagles this Washington game, I don't want to look past it because things it's an interdivision game, right? It's always different when you play your division opponent.
A fact, it's going to be a tougher game.
Yeah, it's going to be a 1 o'clock game on a Sunday. We're finally back on Sunday again. It's
and
nice.
We're not.
And then we're not.
And then we're not until the end of the year.
Yeah.
And our next game against the Commanders, and then we play the Cardinals after it all.
Yeah, but they're going to be. I think the following week is at 4 o'clock too. So
the rest of the year is 4 o'clock for us. Up the 8 o'clock game against the Chiefs.
Yeah,
8 o'clock game against the Cowboys, and then we have a 1 o'clock game against the Cardinals. And where's the Commanders? Oh, this month. I play the Commanders twice in October. They're both 1 o'clock games.
Yeah,
everything else is 4 o'clock.
Have you? So I don't. Is there anything to discuss about what we think this Commanders game is going to be like? Besides, I don't know. I would say a blowout, but anything? What do you guys think, Miguel?
I mean, I don't feel threatened by this team at all. I don't feel threatened by them, other than because they're a division rival is the only aspect that they never go the way that you think they're gonna go. It's always a difficult battle, but I don't think even if the game is close, there shouldn't be a point where we're feel threatened of losing. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I mean, are we doing predictions now or
not yet?
Okay. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Mark.
Well, the Commanders are the 10th worst rush defense in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at it like that, now pass defense, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're a little better. Let me look at that real quick. Yeah, they are like 12th overall. Like they're actually a decent pass rush. So I think we gotta the big thing is going to be this holding the ball for time. That's where it's going to hurt us. Obviously, it's a division game. Division games, like you said, they can be a little tighter than you expect. A few more things happen, a little bit more rivalry, a little bit more grit. I think, again, it's one of those things where I feel like it might be close early, but I think once the team starts rolling, I think we just hurdle them like DeAndre Swift against the defenders and just keep going. A little up and over. That was such a good play. The fact that he was able to, because Gainwell did the same thing like 2 quarters later, but couldn't do it. He tripped and fell. Love you, Gainwell, but sorry, bud. But Swift, man, up and over, and then just keeps going.
Do you think we see Rashard Penny at all? So
I've heard rumor that he is kind of on the shit list right now.
Oh, because that holding play against AJ Brown, yeah.
And so apparently that might have to do with some of the reason he was seeing some benching. Also, a little side note, I just want to put it out there because I feel like it was deserved. Special teams. Britton Covey, that was your best return. Round of applause for that, for finally on a return. Devin Allen, you finally had an opportunity. It didn't pan out. I really hope you would have made more of it, but hey, at least you got on the field. First true NFL game for the man. Congrats for your first NFL game, even though it didn't go as well you wanted. But Britton Covey came out, I think he was a little nervous with Devin Allen being called up as a kick returner. He wanted to secure his spot at punt return, and I think he did a very good job. He called fair catches when he needed to. He made returns. That one where he got at the 3-yard line, brought it out to like the 20.
Yeah.
I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Your other one, that good return, that was nice.
Yeah, and it was raining too when he was catching those.
Yeah, so Britton Covey, you deserve a little round of applause for that from me. I think that we appreciate what you did this week.
For sure. I think they he had won a 56 return. That was, the Eagles had turned it over, and then they forced a punt, and then he brought it back to where they kind of turned it right over. It was kind of,
we got the ball right back.
It was perfect. Yeah. So this game, I'm not going to call it a trap game because it's just,
we're smarter this time.
I think we're smarter this time.
They're not like 3-6 this year. They're 2-1. This is like a more focused team.
Yeah, it's a more focused team. There's a lot to clean up. I think we're going to see more Jalen Carter, and I think this guy is going to just keep continuing to get better and better and better. And not only these guys getting better and better. We said Fletcher Cox is going to be more rested and be even better when down the stretch, and that's what I'm thinking. That's what's going to happen. Now this thing with Rashard Penny, I saw him on the sidelines, and he was just standing there with his helmet on, ready to go in, and he just was standing there. So, is he out of the doghouse? Do we see him play? We'll see. We'll do predictions now. We'll do.
Nolan Smith finally got on the field, by the way,
and Nolan Smith, he almost got a sack on Mayfield.
And Mayfield was not happy about that hit.
He hit him hard. He smacked him hard.
Nolan Smith doesn't want people to understand that, hey, I'm just a backup. I was injured. I'm here, and I'm not going to let you get away with it. Once I'm allowed on the field, I'm going to unleash.
Yeah, that was a big hit. He was walking off. He was hurt walking off that field. He
was not happy, man. No, but we got a nice, I just want to say Nolan Smith had 6 snaps, had a quarterback hit. Derek Barnett's last 9 games, he had 1 quarterback hit. So just saying, now Smith is healthy. Let's see this rotation.
Yeah, I think we'll see it. I don't think I even saw Derek Barnett. It feels like I know he's on the team.
One of the plays that the one you were talking about earlier, where Jordan Davis picks the guy up and goes, no. Yeah. Barnett just walks in from nowhere and goes, I'm like,
okay.
You weren't part of the play. You're over here.
Man, that guy.
You're getting blocked by a tight end.
Man.
What are you doing?
I just think this game's going to be a fun game to watch. I hope a little breakout game, and I see a score of 45-17.
Oof.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because I was close last week with our score. I think we were all pretty much close of how much points we're going to give up.
Yeah, well, that's like 35 of 13 or something like that.
Yeah, and I said 28-13. 28. I said 28-10. It was 25-11. So I think it's going to be a bigger game this week. So what about you, Mark?
Miguel, you can go ahead.
Miguel's got his number.
Oh, okay.
right,
I feel like we'll win this one. It'll be a tighter game. I say 28 14.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns, 2 scores.
Yeah.
You know, I did want to mention that we also got a safety this week. It's got me thinking.
That was great.
That's beautiful.
Right after he threw that Jalen threw that turnover.
That was a great. That was a great play by that corner, though. That was in the corner and get his feet down. That was a good play.
That was better than the other pick. The other pick was rough.
Brandon Graham said, "Don't worry, we got you." After we threw to Jalen, after he threw that pick, and they got the safety right after. It was awesome.
That was solid.
The ball right back.
Yeah.
So knowing that, looking forward to this upcoming week against the Commanders. I'm gonna say 34 for the Birds, 13 for the Commanders.
34.
I think this week you're gonna see something crazy. I think Sidney Brown gets his first interception.
He's a little hurt though. He's a little banged up.
He's fine. He'll be all right. And I think Jalen Carter records another sack.
Yeah, yeah. I think also point out that I forgot I saw this online. There's a new nickname for our safety, Reed Blankenship. Have you heard this yet?
I've not.
They're calling him Chalk Doc. Chalk Doc.
Damn.
Wow. Who called him that?
I don't want to.
It was on Twitter. I was like, no way that this guy. I don't know where they come up with this stuff. I don't get it. I don't know where they come up with it.
It's amazing.
But I'll go with it. I think it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's.
I'll have to look for it online again, and I'll tag you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But,
hilarious.
Going with Chalk Doc.
Miguel, this last week I shot Mike here for the Instagram a hot take. It was a bad hot take, but it was a hot take nonetheless. Just saying, I'm gonna do another one this week.
Oh boy.
I think you should do either a hot take of your own or a nice prediction for another game that's not the Birds by the end of the week. I think it'd be fun to have us both throw some more things out there for some content.
We can do that.
We got this. Because I think Miguel's more level-headed, has things more organized. I like to look at the this might happen miracle. when Miguel's like, I'm not an idiot. This week where I was like, yeah, the Commanders might, and this guy's like, bro, the Bills, easy. Like I feel like that's kind of where we're at with our mindsets. I'm looking at the this 1%. Like I'm like, when the college football schedule came out and Middle Tennessee State was listed against Alabama, and Alabama was given 99% chance to win, and you saw Middle Tennessee State like, so you're saying there's a chance? All right. Unlike 2 weeks later, when they decided it was Georgia versus some team, and the odds maker said, look, no, there's no chance. You literally can't bet the money line because there's no chance.
No chance.
It wins. I'm like, all right, they learned their lesson. But
right.
Yeah, so I think it'd be fun to build some more at that. And we got some good things to look forward to. It's gonna be a good week in football, boys. We got a game tomorrow. How great is it to know that it's already like football is just back to back to back, and I love it.
Yeah, I think who is playing a Thursday night? Is it the Packers?
It is the Detroit Lions again.
Yeah.
Is it the
I'll
Packers?
watch that. I think it's the Lions Packers. I think
I will say the Lions continue to prove to everyone that
they're
what,
a good team.
They're not that bad. It's the Lions Packers. So I have a feeling, Jordan Love, you're going to lose your game at home.
You know what game I'm looking forward to this week?
They should have lost last week.
The Nickelodeon game.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, the Pixar game.
Yeah, the Pixar game.
I really want to watch that.
Football. Fun day football.
That's why
I really want to watch that. Yeah, because it's the London game. Yeah, so
it's 9:30 in the morning on Sunday. Yeah. Jacksonville, your Jags versus the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I got to wake up early to catch that one.
Not gonna lie, those two teams got woken up bad last week, so I'm interested to see how that plays.
You got the Bears versus the
Broncos.
They're playing to stay in the NFL.
They're gonna tie. They'll tie.
Yeah,
It'll be 0-0 tie.
I told somebody that at work. I was like, "Can I bet for a tie?"
Yeah.
Those two teams are fighting to keep their spot in the NFL. Whoever doesn't make it goes to the XFL. We do a relegation start.
They got to do that. They got to start doing that.
I wish that was a thing.
Because then you don't tank. Like you should. That would be the best thing. Because if they ever got to that level, you completely eliminate tanking. Because the first pick of the draft gets, I think, whoever won the previous year's lower league.
Yeah.
I think it should come in like the first team up, like the 1, 2, 3, and 4 coming up, or the 1, 2, 3, however many we would do. I think the winner gets first, the second gets second, and the third gets third. I reward you for being great at a lower level and punish you for going down.
Yeah, I agree.
I would also say if we do that, you cut the draft down to 4 draft picks, 4 or 5 draft picks, and then the others, because then you have players to go to a relegation draft to the XFL.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about this last podcast, but the XFL and the USFL are going to combine. I don't know if we talked about that.
We did. We touched
that builds a better sound base. All I know is that maybe British soccer and the soccer design, the pyramid just takes over all sports, because at this point it's starting to make more and more sense. I got to go watch.
It makes it more competitive.
My question is, what's the level of drop? Because at some point you're going to see a distinct drop off in talent, right?
Yeah.
Like after how many teams do you see the big drop off? Like,
it's tighter than you think. I mean, you look at I thought the same thing at first, and I started looking since I started watching the Wrexham show last year and looking at how many teams in the Premier League as their top level. They're like, yeah, you've got teams who are they're steady there for like a decade, but then all of a sudden they're not. And all of a sudden they reach a level where they are getting relegated, or a team who came up is now winning the championship. So it does have that opportunity, to see, and you get a good mix of talent. I mean, I didn't realize there was that difference. And like I used to, turn on and I would see, the UEFA Champions League and the so-and-so, like this league championship. And there's so many championships. I never understood it. And now I see it. I'm like, because there's the number one, but the Champions League is just as watched as the Premier League, and Division 1 is still watched almost as much as the Champions League. So like you've got 2-3 tiers worth of teams who are getting billions of dollars in play and championships, and you're starting to see that growth. And I feel like football for this country is a sport that could see growth that way. I mean,
I've got a question for you. Now, okay, I'm just new to this. Like, okay, so if the Bears are the worst team, do they play against the best team, or they just automatically
drop out?
They drop down, and then that number 1 team comes up.
So so the way theirs is the bottom 4 and the top 4. For us, since we only have 32 teams, maybe I would say start with like 2 or 3. Yeah. But so the bottom 3 teams in the NFL drop out. They're no longer in the NFL next year.
Okay.
And so the other 3. So you'll see every year you see swaps at the bottom, no matter what.
What's a good idea? Maybe we can do that with we're following. I'm keeping the whole new NFL geologically correct. What if we did that? What if we took those? In our mind, we take the first 2 top teams of the USFL and 2 of the top teams of the XFL next year, and we'll keep track of that and see which teams would drop out. We're going to do that, I think.
I think we could keep track of it. Yeah,
I think we could keep track of that.
I think there's been a big push for it at the college level, and I think you actually are more likely to see this happen in college than you are in the NFL.
Yeah,
just because there's 132 teams in Division 1 right now, and it doesn't make sense because 100 of those teams don't have a chance. Yeah. There's 100 schools that are not going to win the championship. There's 32 teams where they have a % chance. But even out of those, there's only about 5 or 6 that are probably like looking good, and the rest are dark horses at this point.
Aren't they looking to expand the bracket too for the championship
next year? This is the last year of the 4-team bracket, I believe. So
it's going to go like next year.
8 teams, 8, I think. Yeah. But I mean, I saw someone broke it up already where they had it like the top 25, which is how the AP rankings work anyway. You're the top 25. They're like, let's just keep it like that. Like you're in the top 25. That is your BCS. That is your championship. These are the teams with a chance to win. The bottom 4 drop out, and it works like the way they have it scheduled. And again, like college, obviously, I know Miguel, college is as big for you as it is for other people, but like the amount of years. I mean, a few years ago, Auburn was a championship school. Now they're ranked 40. Like they're not even there. You know, you'd have a year like right now with Colorado being in the top 25. They would have only dropped to 25. They're not falling out this year till the end of the year. But but they're also only facing that level of talent the whole year. You don't play your normal schedule. Because right now, with all the different conferences merging and breaking, like the Pac-12, this is the final year. The toughest conference in college football this year, it's their final year of existence. There are more top 25 teams in the Pac-12 than any other conference. They are so set for a run to be a great conference, and this is their final year. They disappear next year.
Wow. You know, Colorado is going to have a tough bet this week. They're playing USC and Caleb Williams.
I'm feeling that they are going to get hurt.
Yeah. So this was good. This was good. I think we kind of beat the horse on how much we're going to beat the Commanders on. I think we got everything in. Is there anything else you guys want to discuss or anything? I think that's
actually, real quick, I want to say you guys, a little off topic for the Birds, but on topic of the NFL. I'm presuming all of you witnessed the Chubb injury, correct?
Yes.
One of the most grotesque things I've ever seen. Did you guys hear the prognosis of that injury?
He only tore his ACL.
Only tore his MCL.
Yeah.
The ACL is intact. The PCL is intact. No broken bones. Nothing else.
Wait, he didn't break a bone or anything?
No.
Nope.
The meniscus is like everything else is still intact. I do not understand it.
And it was the same knee that he injured in college.
I was going to say it's probably the same knee.
It was. Wow. So that knee.
They said the ACL might be a little bit stretched, but they don't think it's damaged. But
so that means his career is not over. His career is not over.
Nope.
Wow.
I'm sorry, anyone out there if you haven't witnessed it, it is a little hard film to get because they did not re-show it on air. You had the only recordings are people recording their TV. It is grotesque. If this is your knee, you know, let's say the knee is on this side for anyone who's watching. This is how it's supposed to bend that way, and it bent this way. I've never seen an injury that bad in my life to come out with such for lack of a better term, a positive prognosis. I mean, that is mind-boggling. Which, on a side note, though, I'm happy for him because, look, I've heard a lot of people say is that there's animosity between a lot of people, like a lot of players on a lot of different teams, but the general consensus around the league is people really like Nick Chubb. He's a humble go-getter. Yeah. He's a good guy who's kind to everyone, and he's a phenomenal star athlete. So I'm happy for him. I mean, I know he's on another team. I don't want to see anyone injured. I definitely don't want to see anyone like I didn't want to see Rodgers get hurt at all. That was terrible. That ruined the whole great season I wanted to see out of the Jets. I wanted to have that fun when we played them. But for the Browns, like finally feel like they're getting something together, and their star goes down, and he's like it couldn't be a better player. Like he's probably. There's other people on the team that maybe they could have left the field instead, but not Chubb. But I'm happy to hear that he's going to recover and have a good career still.
Deshaun Watson's looking pretty good though too. So
he is putting up some numbers. He's coming together.
Yeah.
So just before we close out this pod, because Mark got his college points in, let's try to even out the playing field and bring some NBA into this. Mark, sit back. You're gonna like this story. You talk about NBA drama. I'm gonna give you some drama right now, Mike. I sent you this story earlier in the week, guys. If you don't know, Kelly Oubre was just signed by the Philadelphia 76ers to play with us this season. And if you're not familiar with Kelly Oubre, he played in Phoenix. He played in Houston, I believe. Anyway, at some point, James Harden invited him to a party. At that party, Kelly Oubre stole James Harden's girlfriend at the time and left the party with his girl. Ended up marrying her and having 2 kids. Not to mention that James Harden got so pissed off that he shut the party down, kicked everybody out, and now he's on the Sixers with James Harden. So let the drama unfold in the Philadelphia 76ers locker room.
When I saw that, Miguel, I said, you know what? I'm just going to ignore the 76ers. Like I just can't It's a joke. They're becoming a joke in my mind.
they
They're
are.
becoming
They
a joke. Becoming a joke.
On a side note,
A side note.
a side note, because that's a lot of drama. The wow, it's just more greatness for Philadelphia. The Flyers preseason has started, and we started with a bang, losing 0-6 to our rivals in New Jersey.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
God, I love you, Flyers. But you know what? Though, at least I don't have the drama that you just gave to us.
Right.
And then on a side note, it's Red October. And
yes, let's go Phillies.
Phillies have clinched a playoff spot, and that's something we can look forward to and excited.
We touched everything this week.
Yes,
NFL, NBA, hockey, college. I mean, you might as well just say that the WWE just signed Jay Cardell. If you don't know who that is, go look her up.
So I saw your post. I have no idea who it is, though. Well, let's just say go Eagles, too. Go Phillies. Sixers, we're going to put you down over here for a minute. Just deal with yourself. Flyers, we love you. You're going to go back over there on the shelf for a couple of years. We'll talk to you again, hopefully in a couple of years. We'd love to see you grow and succeed so you can just, develop a little bit. Oregon, we're going to keep you front and center. Go Birds. All
right, that'll definitely do it for us. I'm Mike. That's Miguel.
Eagles.
You know how we do.
Game.
EAGLES.
Eagles. Let's go.
Birds. Mike, play that music.